Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. So today we are going to cover another lesson, a very important lesson that we always have in national exam. غنشوفوا واحد الدرس اللي غالبا تيكون في national exam. So the conditional type 3 or the third conditional. Okay, so in this video we are going to cover like the use, okay, the form of conditional of the third conditional, and also we have some exercises that are taken from the national exams. وغنشوفوا في another exercise نشوفوا واحد التمارين اللي كانوا ديجا تيكونوا في national exams. Okay, so first of all we have to start by the form, okay, the form of the conditional type 3. Okay, so the form of conditional type 3, or how we form sentences with conditional type 3. يعني كيفاش شنو هي القاعدة ديال conditional type 3. So we should follow this rule. So we have to put f, okay, f plus the past perfect, okay, f plus the past perfect. Okay, this is the first part of the conditional clause. Okay, the conditional clause will have to put f plus the past perfect. And what is the rule of past perfect? Okay, شنو هي القاعدة ديال past perfect? Is had plus the past participle of the verb. Okay, had plus the past participle of the verb. Okay, so we have the first part, if plus past perfect. Okay, we have to put comma plus would have. Okay, either we are going to put would or could or might have plus the past participle of the verb. Okay, so either we have the rule, the form of conditional type 3 or the third conditional, we have f plus the past perfect plus would have or could have or might have plus the past participle of the verb. For example, so we are going to give, so first of all we have, but before examples we are going to cover the use. Okay, when we are going to use conditional type 3, يعني فوقاش كيمكننا نستعملوا conditional type 3. We use it if we are talking about imaginary. So we are talking about imaginary situations in the past. Okay, imaginary situations in the past. Okay, something that didn't happen in the past, but we imagine the results of that situation. Okay, for example, we can say if I had studied hard, okay, if I had studied hard, I would have got good marks. Okay, so I'm going to explain this sentence. Okay, so I'm going to explain this sentence. If I had studied hard, so had studied is the past perfect. Okay, so is the past perfect. Okay, so had plus the past participle of the verb. So, and this is the main clause, okay, or the results clause. So we have would have got. Okay, so would, okay, have, okay, plus the past participle of the verb. What does this sentence mean? So here, the reality that I didn't study hard, okay, in the reality, so maybe last year, okay, I didn't study hard and I didn't have good marks. But right now I am imaginary. So imagine the situation, the result of that situation. So if I had studied hard, I would have got good marks. Okay, so then we can say another example. So another example, we can say if I had got So I had got, okay, if I had got money, so if I had got money, I could have bought a car, okay, I could have bought a car, okay. So we have if I had got, okay, if I had got money, so and we have I could have bought a car, but in reality I didn't have money maybe last year or last month or something like that, so therefore I didn't buy a car. So and right now, so in the present I'm imagining the situation, okay. So we have if I had got money, I could have bought a car, okay. So this is the rule of conditional type 3, okay, or the third conditional, or sometimes we call it the impossible condition, okay. So it means that it's really impossible, okay. We can't change things that happened in the past, so you can't change this, and we imagine the result of that situation that was in the past. So here we should recapitulate before we move to exercises. We should just recapitulate. So the form of the conditional type 3, so you are going to need this form f plus the past perfect, and you should know how you are going to conjugate verbs in the past perfect. يعني خصنا نعرفوا كيفاش كنكونجيجيو الافعال في الباست perfect. We should follow this rule, okay. Had plus the past participle of the verbs, okay. So we have if I had, okay, if I had, and the past participle of the verb, like in this example, if I had studied, okay, if I had studied. And the other part of the sentence, or the main clause or the results clause, so you need this rule. So either we are going to put would or could or might or plus have plus the past participle of the verbs that we have here, okay. So like here, if I had got money, I could have bought a car. So we have if I had studied hard, I would have got good grades or something like that. I will add another example. So we can say if I had woken up, okay, if I had woken up early, so I wouldn't have missed the train, okay. So I wouldn't have missed the train, okay. So we have if I'm sorry, so if I had woken up, this is the past perfect, if plus the past perfect of the verb, okay. So if I had woken up early, okay, so I wouldn't have missed the train, okay. So if I had woken up early, I wouldn't have missed the train, etc. Okay, so as you can see, it's really easy. You should just know how we are going to conjugate the verbs, okay, concerning past perfect, or we are talking about the modal plus have plus the past participle. So right now we are going to move to some exercises and how they give this lesson in national exams, okay. So we are going to cover some exercises and how you rewrite again the sentences. They will give you like situation in the past and you are going to rewrite it again. So we are going to cover exercises right now. So concerning the exercises, so as you notice here, this is how they give you this lesson in national exams, okay. يعني هكذاك يعطيوكم الدرس هذا في الامتحانات الوطنية. Okay, so what did they give you? They give you sentence like this, okay, situations in the past. Amadou didn't stay in France because he didn't have a job, and they ask you to write the sentence using F, using the conditional, okay. So we should like rewrite again the form or the structure of conditional. Okay, so what is the structure? So we use if plus the past perfect, okay, plus the past perfect, means had plus the past participle of the verb. This is the form of past perfect. So plus would have or could have, okay, would have or could have or might have, plus the past participle of the verb. Okay, this is the form of conditional type 3, or the third conditional, or we call it the impossible conditional. So we are going to do this. The first sentence we have: Amadou didn't stay in France because he didn't have a job. Okay, so he didn't stay in France. Why? Because he didn't have a job. So right now we imagine the result of that situation. Okay, if Amadou, what are we going to say? So we're going to say if Amadou, okay, if Amadou had, okay, if Amadou had, if plus the past perfect, if Amadou had a job, okay, if Amadou had a job, okay, so we have if plus the past perfect. Okay, this is the past perfect. If Amadou had a job, what's gonna happen? He would, okay, would have, we're going to write have or could have, okay, would have stayed, the verb stay, would have stayed in France. Okay, he would have stayed in France. But in the reality, he didn't have a job, therefore he left France. Okay, and here we imagine the result of that situation. We said that if Amadou had a job, he would have stayed in France. Okay, if Amadou had a job, he would have stayed in France. Okay, so it means we apply this rule here. If plus the past perfect had, and we have the verb have here, the past participle that we put here. Okay, if Amadou had a job, he would have stayed in France. Okay, this is the first sentence. The second sentence we have, so Emma didn't save enough money. So she didn't save enough money. So she couldn't buy a computer. Okay, so Emma didn't save enough money. She couldn't buy a computer. Okay, so we are going to write if. So if, okay, Emma. So if Emma, so had saved. If Emma had saved enough money, so if Emma had saved enough money, okay, so this is the rule that we are just talking about, had plus the past participle of the verb. If Emma had saved enough money, okay, she could have, and the past participle of the verb buy is bought. It's irregular verb. Okay, so she could have bought a computer. Okay, she could have bought a computer, but in the past Emma didn't save enough money, therefore she didn't buy that computer. Okay, and here we are imagine, okay, we imaginary situation. So if Emma had saved enough money, she could have bought a computer. Good. So the third sentence we have Yasin had a terrible accident. Why? Because he didn't stop at the red light. Okay, so Yasin had a terrible accident because he didn't stop at the red light. Okay, so we are going to say if, so Yasin, if Yasin, what? If Yasin had stopped. Okay, if Yasin had stopped. Okay, if Yasin had stopped at the red light, at the red light, if Yasin had stopped at the red light, okay, he, okay, wouldn't have what? He wouldn't have had a terrible accident. He wouldn't have had a terrible accident. Okay, he wouldn't have had a terrible accident. Okay, so the change that we did if plus the past perfect, had plus the past participle. Okay, so if plus the past perfect, then he would have plus the past participle of the verb. Okay, wouldn't have had a terrible accident. Wouldn't have, it's the rule, and here had is the past participle of the verb had that we have here. Okay, so we have, if Yasin had stopped at the red light, he wouldn't have had a terrible accident. But in the reality, Yasin didn't stop at the red light, therefore he had a terrible accident. Good. So we move to the fourth sentence. We have, I had a bad mark at the test because I didn't prepare well. Okay, so I had a bad mark at the test because I didn't prepare well. So what are you going to say? If I had prepared well, okay, so if I had prepared well, okay, had plus the past participle of the verb, okay, so I, okay, could have, okay, so if I had prepared well, I could have had, okay, so we can say I couldn't, I'm sorry, either say I couldn't have had bad marks, okay, I couldn't have had a bad mark, okay, a bad mark, or we can say also, I could have, so a good mark, means the opposite. So we are just imagine the result of that situation. So the reality that I didn't prepare well for the exam or for the test, therefore I had a bad mark. Okay, something normal. You didn't prepare, you are not going to have good mark. Okay, but it's kind of regress. Right now you can say, if I had prepared well, okay, if I had prepared well, I could have had, I'm sorry, I'm going to add here had, I forget, I'm sorry. So we can say I could have had a good mark, or we can say I couldn't have had a bad mark. Okay, I couldn't have had a bad mark. So this is the lesson. This is the conditional type 3, or the third conditional, or we can also call the impossible conditional. So we have just to memorize the rule. Okay, this is very important. We should like if plus the past perfect plus would have plus the past participle. We should like memorize it. Okay, this is how they give you this lesson in national exams. يعني هكذا كيعطيكم الدرس هذا في national exams. Okay, امتحانات الوطنية. Do we give a sentence like this? كيعطيكم واحد الجملة واحد situation in the past. Okay, like this. Amadou didn't stay in France because he didn't have a job. What do you think that you should know? You should understand the sentence first. Okay, خصكم تفهموا الجملة أولا. Then you are going to write it using F. Okay, so you should remember whenever you find F, it's followed by past perfect. Okay, يعني ديما فاش كنلقاو the word F, okay, ضروري كنتبعها بالpast perfect. Had plus the past participle concerning conditional type 3. Why? Because we have different conditionals. Okay, we have 0, we have 1, we have 2, and 3. Okay, so F plus the past perfect. If Amadou had a job, he would have stayed in France. Okay, like here, if Emma had saved enough money, she could have bought a car, okay, a computer, I'm sorry. She could have bought a computer. Okay, so then we have, if Yasin had stopped at the red light, he wouldn't have had a terrible accident. And last one, if I had prepared well, I couldn't have had a bad mark exam. Okay, so I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. So don't forget to leave comments and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. And next video is going to be about writing, how you're gonna write cause and effect essay. Thank you so much. Thank you.